Hi and hello. I am Amrei. I'm 28 years old and I am coming to you from Vienna, Austria. And I was a bit hesitant to do this, mostly because I have no experience talking in front of a camera, and I've been considering doing a yarn podcast sort of thing for literal years, but I was always too much of a chicken to do it, and now I kind of decided, you know what, I have to give it a try. If this doesn't work out, if I don't like it, if a potential audience doesn't like it, fine, at least I tried. But I thought I'd give it a go. I have notes here because I have to prepare for this sort of thing and I get nervous, but yes, I guess let's get into it. So I am a knitter, mostly. I also do other fiber arts, like occasionally I do crochet and also some sewing and some Tatreez, which is Palestinian cross stitch, which I got into this year actually. And I started knitting almost 4 years ago. I did learn crochet as a kid, but then I took a very long break. Started again like in 2021, and one thing led to another, and I learned knitting and much preferred it actually, and that's what I've been doing ever since, more or less, as long as my body allowed me to. Yeah, in my notes I have a bullet point that says, what am I wearing? Well, I forgot to put on a homemade garment. This is a store-bought item, but let's just, for the list's sake, let's put on a handmade item, handmade by myself. All clothes are handmade, by the way. If you buy them in a store, it's still handmade. We tend to forget that, but self-made. This is the Ava cardigan by Petite Knit. I knit this last year in Pergint by Sanescam. It's the suggested yarn, and I did this like almond tweed color thing. I usually go for color in my knits, but for some reason I just really like this like light, I guess natural tone with tweed. I don't know, it feels cozy, and yeah, and this is an amazing cardigan, but actually it's too warm, so I'm just going to take it off again. Oh well, great tangent. The reason I actually decided to give this a try, let's say, is because I recently started a new project, and I looked up videos on YouTube of other yarn podcasters who had maybe made a video on this pattern, and I couldn't find a single one. And I just have a desire to talk about this, and I need to yap. So I thought, you know what, let's do it on video and try to publish it. So the project in question is this here. This is the Bindweed cardigan by Xenia Naidion. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Half a year ago I was at a yarn festival here in Vienna, and I saw someone with a beautiful cardigan and asked about the pattern, and this is it. It is a raglan with basically an all-over cable motif on the sleeves, as you can see here. It's really beautiful. This is how far I've come. I am like 4 centimeters past sleeve separation, or 3.5, let's say. And this has been a journey because this yarn was originally used for something else. Like 2 weeks ago, I actually unraveled 2 sweater whips, so pieces in progress, that have been dormant for between 2 and 3 years and have been causing me guilt. And 2 weeks ago, I finally got the strength to just pull through, and I spent an entire Sunday just unraveling these projects. The first one was the Arctic Light sweater by Kutova, and I started that years ago. And the sizing I just didn't like the fit. It was too large and a bit like a tent, like the sleeves were massive. The body would have been fine, I finished the body, but I basically finished the sleeve and didn't like the fit. So I decided to unravel that and reduce the armhole size, and then try to like pick up stitches and knit the sleeve again. And since it's a raglan pattern, and I had already finished the body, that wasn't that simple. So I just basically picked up stitches from the underarm, and it's seat stitch, so it really doesn't, it would have not been noticeable. And like I make calculations with the sleeves and decreases. And then I knit that sleeve and I knit, and then I tried it on and it was too tight. I mean, I could have worn it, but I don't like tight knitted sleeves. Like I need some air. I'm very sensitive when it comes to like fit of garments. I experience a lot of like sensory issues around clothing. So yeah, I was there with a bad sleeve and I was sick of it and decided no, I don't want this sweater anymore. It would have been beautiful, but nothing went right. And the other whip that I frogged was the drawing sweater by, what's her name? Tomomi Nantoku. It's a Japanese designer, knit designer, and I don't know, Yoshimoto? I don't remember, but the first name is Tomomi, as far as I remember. And it's basically it is a raglan, but it's color work, and I was new to color work back then, and it's not like a single repeat. It does not repeat, it's irregular color work, meaning you really have to focus on this. And there are very long floats, and I'm someone who catches floats, right? Because I don't want to like get stuck with my fingers or anything. And it was just a lot of work that I put in this, but I just did not enjoy knitting it. I went like a few rows past sleeve separation, and like in hindsight, my gauge was terrible. Like the tension was horrible, it looked bad, it was not fun. And I had also gained weight in the meantime, and I wouldn't even have fit in the thing, so I just let it rest. And once I unraveled the sweater that I got this yarn from, which took long because it has mohair and it gets stuck on itself, I also unraveled that the colorwork sweater. And oh my god, that was so much work. Because I am so diligent about catching floats, you can't just rip it out, but you always have to untwist the yarn. And yeah, that was so much effort. I knit that in drops alpaca, and I think it's a sport weight with like 170 meters per skein-ish. I don't remember exactly, but it took me, and there were like 2 full and 1/2 ball of yarn in there, so like maybe 400 meters. But it took me like more than 3 hours to unravel that sweater. That, like, I was on the brink of, I don't even know what. I don't want to say insanity, but frustration. Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I didn't want to get into this for this long. Like, I don't want to make this too long. But that's where I got the yarn from, and I put it in the freezer for a few weeks, just so like potential moth eggs or anything die. So it is basically clean. And it was in there for 2 weeks, and then I started working on this. I cast this on exactly a week ago, so last Monday, and that's where it starts, because I had to do a lot of math because this pattern is written for DK yarn and uses a 4mm needle, and the yarn from the sweater that I unraveled is Drops Carissa and Drops Kid Silk, which combined becomes a worsted weight that you use 5mm needles for. So I wanted to use this yarn because I feel like I have to use up my yarn. I feel like I have enough, and I don't want to buy huge quantities until I use more of my yarn, just because I had a moth scare and it's getting taken care of now, but I just don't want this yarn to go to waste because I want to work with it. So I really wanted to use this yarn. So I made calculations based on row and column gauge. Do you call it column stitch gauge? No. How many stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches? I made those calculations and was between two sizes, size 2 or 3 instead of the original 5 that I would have used for my measurements, and I decided to go with size 2, and did the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but I came to sleeve separation, and then I decided to try it on to see how the fit is, because I was worried about yoke depth, right? Because someone who is a much smaller size needs a different yoke depth than I need with my chest, because I have a larger circumference and I need a deeper yoke unless I wanted to ride up like this. So I saw that yoke was not deep enough, even though as per my calculations it should have been deep enough, like with row gauge. So I decided to size up one size for the increases. Basically, you could just keep going with the raglan increases up until the next size. I did that and just separated for sleeves, did a few rows, and then put it on and noticed, oh, the yoke was still not deep enough, and I really don't like things to be tight around here. So I decided to go back, rip back, and size up even more with a few more increases, but I did do less increases on the sleeves that time around. Like, I just stopped doing the sleeve increases and just did body increases, and just so I would get more depth but not extremely large sleeves, because it was about depth and not diameter, right? Or circumference. So I did that successfully and separated and knit a few rows already here, and now I am very excited, not excited actually, because now I have to work the body, and with cardigans you have to go back and forth and purl a lot, but I'm looking forward to it, and it's a 5mm, so things are still progressing extremely fast. Because like if I did a DK or like even smaller weight, like with my size, I usually wear an XL, sometimes 2XL, depending on the store. I usually just take much longer to finish garments, right? It's just way more knitting. So this still feels very fast at that gauge. And once I'm finished with this skein here, I will put these body stitches on hold and knit the sleeves, because I am someone who really doesn't like... Usually the suggested sleeve length is too short for my liking. It usually like goes up until here, and I do not like when the sleeve finishes here. It just feels too short and I want to pull it down, so I always have to add a few centimeters. So my priority lies with the correct sleeve length, so that I can just basically use up the body yarn. And since I did not buy this yarn specifically for this project, and I honestly don't remember how much I have, I don't really care about body length, because I usually wear high waist trousers, and as long as the cardigan goes a bit past my waist, it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past week. I was also on sick leave for 3 days, so I really had time to knit, even though I actually didn't knit that much. I'm still recovering. I have like this weird cough that I've had for 10 days. It's not COVID, I got tested, but it's really weird, and my throat is still a bit sore, but it is getting better. I am on the mend. Yeah, but this is my new big project. I haven't knit much this year because I injured basically my left hand, actually the nerve, I think, in the beginning of the year when I went bouldering with my colleagues, and I hadn't been bouldering for years. And like I don't know, I overdid it, and my ulnar nerve was very, in German you'd say eine Nervbeleidigung, so offend a nerve. It was basically acting up for months, and I didn't knit for 3 months. But I'm so happy to be back to knitting now. I cannot knit like I used to before. Like, I come from a different part of Austria, and it takes a 7-hour train ride to get there, and I used to be able to just knit throughout the entire train ride. I cannot do that anymore. After like 4 hours max, I really have to stop and take breaks and do a lot of these stretches. Yeah, I guess that is my aging body. But yeah, so I didn't knit that much, but still a lot, especially yesterday. I watched some yarn podcasts that I really enjoyed. I forgot the name of the channel, but I really like her videos. I may link that in the description below, as I will with like patterns or whatever, if anybody cares about that. I don't know if I'll be able to insert pictures here. I should have chosen a side here maybe, so I could put pictures on one side. I don't even know if I'll manage to do that. That's a problem for me in maybe 10 hours or never, who knows if I'll ever get to editing this. I've never edited a video before, so that's going to be fun. Yes, but that's all about the Bindweed cardigan so far. It's been very fun. I'll keep working on that. And as a little, should I talk about this? I think I will. As I mentioned in the beginning, I picked up Tatreez this year during my knitting break, basically, because it's Palestinian cross stitch, right? So traditional Palestinian art, and you just have it. There's not as much movement involved, so it was much easier on the joints. And also just working with thin cotton thread in the summer was just much more comfortable in that heat, because Vienna can get really hot, and Vienna heat is something else. I don't know. I have experienced different types of heat, I guess, different flavors. I think every place has its own version of heat that is uniquely terrible. Japanese heat is humid and you feel like you cannot breathe. in Vienna it feels like you're burning, and somewhere else, I don't know. I don't travel much, but I wanted to show you this project that I did. I did do, like in the beginning when I learned Tatreez, I attended a workshop by Handala Kulturforum, which is like a Palestinian organization in Vienna, and they did a workshop on Tatreez, and we learned about like historical background, like what basically historical background, and Tatreez also became a form of resistance among Palestinian people, because at some point even their flag got banned. They couldn't use the flag, and like they used cross stitch to like embroider their traditional dresses. They're called thobes. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but like it's very recognizable and like significant. Like it's these long dresses that have especially on the collar, like here a collar panel, and like different patterns. I don't feel qualified to go into depth about this. Like I'm new to this, and other people are more experienced. I can link some sources here, some links to more knowledgeable people, Palestinian people who really know what they're talking about. Yeah, they just resisted the occupation basically through Tatreez as well. And at that workshop there were many samples of Tatreez, and I saw a pillow and I just fell in love with it. Like it was love on first sight, like even the color scheme. I knew instantly that I had to reproduce this. I took some photos from different angles. In hindsight, I should have taken better photos, but I worked with what I had, and I started working on it end of May, mid-May, I'm not sure entirely. And I just copied all the cross-stitch patterns on like these little so I had these for reference, like all the single patterns. Here, that's the rose. That's a very, very famous pattern for Tatreez. Like this is on so many Tatreez pieces. Also this here, this is a variation of the cypress tree. This is also very well represented in Tatreez. You see it everywhere in different shapes and sizes. Anyways, I had that, made calculations, and since I was new to cross stitch overall, I really didn't know how much to order, like how much embroidery thread, but I ended up ordering enough. And I am very close to finishing actually. So this is what it looks like right now. This is a lot, and recently I've been working on the cypress trees, and I am now filling in the pink part here. I have to still do this for all the cypress trees, and I added chickens instead of a different pattern, because I didn't like the other pattern that much, and it was a lot of area to cover. I just didn't want to, like I was also a bit scared of running out of thread. So I decided to add chickens because I love chickens. And I looked it up on Tirasign, which is a website that is an amazing pattern library for Tatreez patterns, and it's a collection, an archive basically. And I just made calculations, wrong calculations by the way, looked up a pattern that would fit and that I would like, and yeah, added the chicken instead, because why not? I love a good chicken, they're cute. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. And once it's done, there's still going to be, I basically miscalculated how much fabric I'd need, and I may run, I should do another like line of this pattern here on the sides, but I may not have enough space for that because I want enough seam allowance so that it doesn't fall apart and the pattern is still visible. I'll see about that. Maybe I'll just finish the pillow like this. But once I'm done with that, I can make a pillowcase with this, and that's a problem for future me. I have made pillowcases before, but I haven't decided, like I may what fabric to use in the back, maybe blue, purple or pink are options because that's the color scheme, right? As you can see here with the roses, there's a light purple, a lavender color, basically a very blue lavender color, a dark blue, and the pink. Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with cross-stitch culture, but I know showing the back is a big thing, and I try to keep it neat, but well, I'm not a master, but I think I still did sort of, well, that's what it looks like. I cannot see what I'm showing right now, but yeah, that's what my backs look like. Yeah, that's... I also have a sock whip, but I'm not going to show that because it's not interesting and I have to get up for that. But that is basically my works in progress. And I think I'm going to basically leave it at this length because I don't know, if I don't know someone, I'm not as likely to start a really long video by that person, so I want to keep it, well, under 30 minutes hopefully. Please, like, if you made it to here, first of all, thank you so much for watching. And also, like, if you have feedback for me or just comments about the stuff that I have been making or saying, please leave those comments down below. And yeah, I will link what I can in the description. And also, I am amrei.strickt.zeug on Instagram and Ravelry. And on Ravelry it's without the dots. I will link all of that in the description, and I'd be happy if anybody, like, if you feel like talking or whatever, like, I am new to all of this. Like, if you like this, definitely no, you don't have to tell me, do whatever you please. Anyways, I think I'm going to end this here. I have ideas for future videos. If someone was interested, that would be nice. But anyways, thank you so much for listening, and maybe see you in the next video. Maybe, who knows? And bye bye.